human variation and adaptation in African hunter-gatherers.
You're good.
In class, we've studied natural selection in birds, pepper plants, even HIV. However, we never discussed humans in depth. This poses an interesting question. How does natural selection affect humans? Natural selection has 4 basic tenets: variable population, heritable traits, selection pressure, and a higher reproduction rate than survival rate. A good population to look at would be the hunter-gatherers of Africa. The African population is really important, yet understudied, because Africa is the proposed homeland of human species. According to our current data, this corresponds to the migration out of Africa. The African population is geographically and genetically diverse, and by studying the modern hunter-gatherer populations in Africa, researchers can better understand natural selection in humans.
To answer this question, Dr. LaChance's research team decided to sequence the genomes of various hunter-gatherer populations throughout Africa. He did this at a 60-fold genome coverage, which means he actually sequenced through a laboratory each genome over 60 times just to get a 95% confidence level and reduce all errors. So he picked 5 males from each of 3 different populations: the pygmy from Cameroon, the Hadza from Tanzania, and the Sandawe from Tanzania as well. The pygmy are made up of the Baka, the Bakola, and Bedzan. The Hadza and Sandawe, even though they are geographically close, they are not specifically related, and so you can see here, this is a picture of the pygmy population, and they're all hunter-gatherers. After extensive data collection, Dr. LaChance's team added over 3 million variants to the catalog of human genetic variation. And these variants are gene locations that have multiple alleles that have not previously been known to mankind. 50.8% are shared between hunter-gatherer populations. And so these are variations that might have been solely important to hunter-gatherer populations and not to agricultural populations, because they were not expressed in anything we have cataloged before. 5.6% are shared variants with the San, which are the Bushmen of southern African populations. And these are known to be one of the most oldest populations of humans around. And 5.7% are shared variants with other studied populations. So they are closely related in the whole world. Fewer than 15,000 variants have an allele frequency of more than 50% in a single hunter-gatherer sample.
As you can see in the phylogenetic tree, you can see that the pygmies broke off first, while the Hadza and the Sandawe seem to have a common ancestor, and shows when exactly they diverged, or estimates it. And all 3 of these populations share a bunch of sound variants, which shows that they probably diverged before the other hunter-gatherer populations. And the Sandawe and the pygmies have a bunch of rare variants, while the Hadza only have a few, which is kind of odd because the Hadza and the Sandawe are very closely related, so it's likely that the Sandawe got a few of these variants after they broke off from the most common ancestor between the 2 of them. There's also evidence that early humans were mating with extinct archaic species of hominins, shown from the data that was discovered on their genes. And there are also a bunch of adaptive genes found in all 3 of these populations. such as the HESX1, which affects the pituitary glands of pygmies, which is why they're so short. The Hadza and the pygmy also have an altered sense of smell from a gene, and they're genes in all three tribes, three different genes that affect their bone structure, which is how they adapt to their environments. The pygmies also have a gene that regulates lipid levels in breast milk, while the Sandawa have one that helps repair the vascular system.
The variants in African hunter-gatherer populations may have been introduced through mating between humans and extinct human-like species. The gene flow altered the genotypes and phenotypes of these populations of humans. Each population is better suited for their respective locations. Probable causes include natural selection in a hunter-gatherer environment. The genome sequencing revealed millions of heritable and variable genes produced to natural selection in a hunter-gatherer situation. Also, a lack of population migration. By comparing genomes, previous phylogenetic trees were further substantiated, like the one seen in the introduction slide. Lachance's evidence suggests that natural selection played an important part in shaping modern humans.